We're here.
Woo!
And welcome to the Three Count Podcast. I had to go
Love
theatrical there, Benny.
Love it, mate. Love it.
Had to go theatrical. Get the lantern out. Get
We
it
have
rolling.
let him in.
Let him in. We are the Three Count Podcast. Welcome to the show.
Wow.
Been a bit of stuff going on, Benny.
Mate, I know you've usually got your spiel and everything about, socials and whatever else, but he's here. Bray is back.
He's back.
Back.
Now, we're going to break down all the action from Extreme Rules. We're going to talk through Bray's return, amazing return. And, we're going to draft the best returns on the back of his awesome return, which is...
There's a lot.
There's a lot, and it's going to be a fun one. It was fun doing going down the rabbit hole, as you might say, of YouTube, looking at all those. Now, I'm your host, Dylan Chambers. With me, as always, the eater of whoppers, Benny Hobden.
Hey.
Welcome to Husky Hobden. Would you like that one?
Husky Hobden works better, I reckon.
Okay, Husky Hobden. And make sure you follow us on the socials at 3Count Pod on Twitter and Facebook, at 3Count Podcast on Instagram. If you're watching on YouTube, hit that subscribe button and the follow button on Spotify and Apple Podcasts. Benny, let's get to it. The return of Bray Wyatt.
This was done so well. So well.
Masterfully done.
Yeah, just beautiful. Like you could really see how much work they've put into it. We've been talking about it for months now, weeks now, and just everything just worked out perfectly. You and I were watching live. We were both texting each other going, we're not going to get anything. What's going on? And then Triple H just brought back the old NXT watermark at the bottom, thinking the pay-per-view's over. And then bang, you just hear Michael Cole going, are we still on the air? And then he's got the whole world in his hands and just brilliant. Brilliant.
So well done. So much fun. You said you were getting goosebumps.
I've still got literally, I watched it again the next day or on Tuesday on Raw and I got goosebumps again. So it was so good.
Benny is one of the biggest Bray Wyatt marks.
Bit of a mark, yeah. Bit of a mark, I'm not going to lie.
So yes, we have the return of Bray Wyatt, reportedly returning with him, Bo Dallas.
Yeah, his brother coming back. Now, will he play a character? One of these, White Sixes, as we are talking about at the moment, we're hearing all these different stories of who they're going to be.
Yeah, this is what they're throwing up. Are these characters going to be people? Do we just not see them again? I don't know. Time will tell. Hopefully, we'll learn a bit more on SmackDown this week. But reports are that Bo Dallas is returning and will have something to do with Bray.
Yeah. So, are you going to take any guesses at who you think these characters will play, or you don't think they're going to come to life? Or
I don't know. My initial thought was that they're not going to be a thing.
Yeah.
But then I look at his Twitter and it's the Wyatt Six, and
he has to have a faction, right? Though
maybe they are. He's supposed to be leading people like he did with his family. So maybe he has a new family. But I mean, I guess if I could see Bo Dallas as anyone, it's like the Fiend version, right?
That's what I would have thought as well. But everybody on every socials that I've been reading, they're all saying he's the White Rabbit, because the White Rabbit is the one that, or Rascal Rabbit or whatever it's called.
Yeah,
he's the one that is sort of like trying to pull Bray back and trying to change him, like trying to change him away from the Fiend and that kind of stuff. So
okay,
I don't know who'll play the Fiend then. Of course, that's the only thing. The other ones we're hearing are Grayson Waller as Mercy the Buzzard. Gacy as the pig.
Gacy would make sense. Do we get Alistair Black back for something? He was part of some of the promos there for the White Rabbit. So
interesting.
We will find out. Now, excuse me. That wasn't the only return. Whoa. We had the Good Brothers making their return to Raw.
This was a shock. Like, considering they still one of them still holds a title in New Japan.
That's right.
So
and he's still booked to defend said title at a New Japan event.
Anderson, yeah. So and is this the forbidden door? Has Triple H opened up a forbidden door here?
I think it's probably more of a will allow you to finish your dates off kind of thing. And I believe that date is the same date as Crown Jewel. So I don't think we will see the OC in Saudi Arabia, but I don't think that's a big loss. But it was good to see the Good Brothers back.
Yeah, I popped pretty hard for that one as well. I wasn't just you could see like AJ's face, and then all of a sudden I wasn't talking about you.
And then, so Triple H is just loving factions right now. Let's just create as many factions as we can.
Well, as we spoke about, mate, he's been in quite a few, and quite a few of them were good. So I mean, you know, he knows what he's doing. So
can't hurt. So that'll be fun. Good Brothers teaming up with AJ. They'll take on the Judgment Day now. So that will be fun to watch. We had another return. Brock Lesnar comes out of nowhere to just brutalize Bobby Lashley.
And didn't he? Just ruined him.
Absolutely ruined him. And allowed my next piece of news, Seth Rollins, to become the new United States champion. And the second, you were going to say it, Benny. I
was just going to say the second man to complete the Grand Slam.
That's right.
Yeah.
The double Grand Slam.
Grand Slam, yeah.
Along with The Miz.
The great, the awesome.
The awesome. Returns are plenty, still afoot. Elias returning to Raw next week. How did Ezekiel grow the beard that quickly?
Well, because he's not Ezekiel, man. He's Elias. They're two different people.
Apparently so.
They are.
Apparently so. That will be interesting to see what happens with Elias next week.
Yeah.
Bray, we will get to see what happens on SmackDown. They did have a promo on Raw. And
will we though, or are we just going to get a little bit more of this backstage?
I think this is going to be a long tease out.
Yeah,
they've
so too.
Like we mentioned last week, they've just hired this new long-term creative director.
Yeah,
this could be it could be a long time before we see Bray actually wrestle in a match.
Oh, I don't think we'll see him wrestle for a long time. Yeah, no, probably Rumble or
WrestleMania next year.
Maybe it might be a bit too far away, but. Yeah, I think it will be at least a couple of months before he wrestles at all.
Definitely. Legado del Fantasma. They made their SmackDown debut last week. No Elektra Lopez to be seen, but Zelina Vega.
Zelina. That was weird. Was that weird for you?
That was very weird, very unexpected. I feel bad for Elektra Lopez. She was, unless they have something bigger planned for her.
Maybe. Because I was watching it going, oh, they're here. And then I was like, wait, why is Zelina there? It just really threw me off. But, you know, it was a good return, or good come up to the main roster for them, I think. And they can do some things.
Did you think possibly Zion was under one of those masks for a second?
For like maybe a split second.
I wished it. I wished it.
Didn't come to fruition.
A bit of sad news. We have one of the Tough Enough winners from the 6th season, Sarah Lee. She passed away at 30, very young.
Very young, yeah.
Very sad.
She won it, yeah.
She won the 6th season of Tough Enough. That's right. There's a couple of people had tributes to her on their arms, and I think Bailey had one on her wrist tape for Extreme Rules. So sad there. Now we've got a whole bunch of new commentary teams with the new seasons of Raw, new seasons of SmackDown. We've got Kevin Patrick and Corey Graves are now going to commentate Raw. Michael Cole and Wade Barrett on SmackDown. Booker T is going to join the NXT commentary team. And we say goodbye to Jimmy Smith and Nigel McGuinness.
Yeah, did you hear the story with Jimmy Smith? That Triple H was talking to Jimmy Smith about how Riddle had beaten somebody in college. Who was it? They talked about it in the main event. And then he turns around, he told him a story. He goes, oh, yeah, make sure you tell Graves that. And he goes, well, why wouldn't I just bring it up? And he goes, oh, wait, I'm clearly not going to be calling the pay-per-view. Makes sense now. So, Israel, I think.
Well, speaking of pay-per-views, they're going to be called by Cole and Graves from now on. So,
which is perfect.
Yeah, perfect. A mixture of the two teams. Who knows what will happen when Pat McAfee comes back, but they're kind of locked in for now. Now we shift to reported returns after talking about all the actual returns. Sarah Logan apparently going to make her return as well. She was in the vignette with the Viking Raiders last week. Benny, thoughts on this possible character shift for Liv Morgan?
Well, the way she went out at the end of the pay-per-view match or whatever else, the smile on her face. There's something weird going on. They also posted a picture of her saying she's in a very dark place. So, what's going on? Is she part of the Bray's little world? That'd be fun.
I think they can do a lot with her if she doesn't become part of Bray's little world.
Okay.
Maybe some sort of unhinged kind of Liv Morgan
We've already
style
done
character.
the unhinged stuff though. Like, I mean, I guess like Alexa Bliss went all weird and stuff like that as well. I reckon they just take her out for a little bit and then bring her back in and let her go a bit crazy that way.
Okay, I like it. Now, last bit of WWE news we'll get to. I should have mentioned this last week, but it has been announced that Binge, KO, and Foxtel are going to be the new home of WWE from January going forward.
Massive.
All of those products will have Raw, SmackDown, and NXT live. And they're not pay-per-views anymore. I've got to call them PLEs, I believe.
Premium live events.
Premium live events will all be on there and will all be free, apart from your subscription to them as well. And Binge will be the new home of the WWE Network, much like Peacock is in the US. So big news for the Foxtel group and Binge and KO and Foxtel. You'll get all that on whichever one you subscribe to. So plenty of WWE coming.
Great news for everybody out there that it doesn't have all those other subscriptions, or it doesn't, casual fans and stuff are going to get to see so much more now, I reckon. So hopefully it opens up the world of WWE to a lot more people and get a few more followers as well.
I hope so too. Now moving on to some AEW news. Now, Jon Moxley has signed a 5-year extension with AEW. That's not a short contract.
Big contract. When I read this, I thought it was a typo. I was thinking 3 years maybe, but 5 years is a very long time.
He's feeling himself as the heart and soul of the company, isn't he?
He is. He really is. But I don't know if it's going to take a toll on him. You know what I mean? Especially with what's going on over there at the moment, it's just sort of a bit, I don't know.
Well, maybe that's his shout out to the locker room too. Like, I'm here for another 5 years. I'm not ditching this place.
Yeah, jump on my back and let me help you. Let me carry it.
That's it. There's reports as well that Renee Paquette may be heading there as well.
As early as tomorrow, they reckon.
Well, there you go. As early as tomorrow, we will find out on Dynamite. Now, speaking of Jon Moxley, he has recently lost his GCW championship against Nick Gage after interference from MJF's friends, The Firm, William Morrissey, and Stokely Hathaway. So just another little iron in the fire for that rivalry.
Building that beautifully. And
Nick Gage, new GCW champion. And the last bit of news from AEW, Saraya has reportedly been cleared to compete.
This is going to be interesting. We talked about this last week, and I was a bit apprehensive with the whole situation. But hey, power to her. I'm just a bit worried. I'm worried.
I wonder obviously they're looking at this Britt Baker feud, right? Do they throw her in with some kind of lower level talent, kind of like they did with CM Punk, and just warm her up to it? It's been a long time since she's been an active wrestler. Yeah,
the thing with this is, though, the women on that roster, like, they all seem to be able to be like always right there in a feud with somebody. Like, so there's not really any low level.
Yeah.
If that makes sense. But, well, unless if they just bring in somebody for her to squash, but she's not a big human being. So usually squash matches only happen with really big people.
Yeah.
Like Jade Cargill was squashing people and stuff like that at the beginning and stuff. Saraya's not big enough to do that. She's got the name, she's got the skill set, whatever else. But
I mean, I guess they could give her a squash match over Rebel. But then you've got to go through Jamie Hayter and Britt, who are both kind of on the same level at the moment anyway.
Yeah, exactly.
All right. Well, that is it for the news. Time to get into the Extreme Rules card, Benny. We kick it off with a 6-man tag team, good old-fashioned Donnybrook match, the Brawling Brutes and Imperium. One day after their brutal IC title match, brutal. Sheamus and Gunther, they put their factions together and put on a fun, hard-hitting match. Plenty of great near falls. Brawling Brutes got the last laugh after Sheamus took out Gunther with a Celtic cross through the announce table, then hit the brogue kick on Vinci for the win. What'd you think, Benny?
Mate, I thought this was brilliant. It was crazy. It didn't disappoint. Just the brutality, as you said, like just never stopped. And it wasn't overdone either. Like there wasn't too much, like it was just done in the right way for me, just the amount of brutality in it. And there was still that good part of wrestling in it, and just the way that Sheamus sells with that chest, like his chest, man. He just every time I watch him, I'm just like, come on.
So brutal.
For me, it's probably it's equal best match of the card for me. I gave it a 2.5 count.
I gave it a 2.5 as well. I thought it was the best match on the card.
Yeah.
And I cannot believe that I'm saying a Sheamus match is my favorite match of a pay-per-view. A couple of months ago, I just written the guy off.
But Sheamus is putting in the best matches overall. He's probably the go-to man for the company at the moment.
When it started, I had no interest in the Brawling Brutes at all.
Yeah.
And they've just built, like, credit to Imperium and Gunther as well. But, and I was excited for this match.
Yeah.
Such a great turnaround. It's good to see what they can do just to turn these guys kind of around.
So this hasn't ended though.
Surely not.
No, this is going to keep going.
Until Sheamus gets his hands on that IC title belt. Here's what I'm thinking.
All right.
Here's what I'm thinking. They have a stipulation where if Sheamus loses, he doesn't get a shot at the IC title again.
Okay.
I don't know what happens if Gunther loses, but that's kind of where I feel like this is going.
They have been building Gunther for so long.
Yeah.
And he does need to be a beast, but it appears to be that Sheamus is the one that can really challenge him. So, I mean, it makes sense to put that kind of a stipulation in.
Yeah.
So,
factions in a cage match. I don't know.
Ooh, I like it. Let's do it.
In the shark cage above the ring. But yes, I don't think this is over. Moving on. SmackDown Women's Championship Extreme Rules match. Liv Morgan, Ronda Rousey. Now, Rousey did take a lot of punishment in this one. She still managed to seem dominant, though, so that was very well done by her. Liv did hit an impressive senton to put Rousey through the table, but Rousey ended the match by making Liv pass out while she was in a bicep crusher. With
that big smile on her face, with her eyelash falling off, it was a good last little shot of the match. I like that.
It was. I gave it a 2 count. I thought it was above average, and I enjoyed it.
I gave it a 1.5 count. I didn't mind the match. I thought some of those shots with the bats and the chairs and stuff like that were really nowhere near good enough, if that makes sense. But then some of them looked like they were like awesome shots. For me, that one where Liv ran and jumped off the steps to try and get at Ronda, and she just goes across the guts with that bat. That was brilliantly done. She might not have even made contact, but the way they did that the
camera work was amazing for that shot.
I was like, it hurt my midsection. I was like, that was brilliant. So overall, it was a good match for me. Like, so 1.5 count.
What's next?
Well, as we just talked about, what's Liv going to do? I think Liv should just be out for a little bit. And then Rousey, you just got to think that Rousey's going towards Flair. They did another vignette for Flair.
They keep doing those vignettes.
Like, that's the only way it can see it going for me. Does your girl Shayna come back, and she's already done with her? Like,
I would love to see Shayna get a shot at Rousey, but I'm with you. I think it's got to be Charlotte.
Yeah.
And I feel like she might appear on SmackDown this week.
Charlotte?
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, she has to, sure. Like, they can't keep doing these vignettes and not because they're getting longer and longer and longer every time and stuff like that.
And she's not injured. She's just kicking back. Out. She's married now. She's had the honeymoon. She's just
enjoying life. Just
kicking back now. So hopefully we see our good friend of the show, Charlotte, very soon.
She's going to have to start making some money soon because her husband's about to be fired. So
That's right. We then go to the strap match. Drew McIntyre, Carry On Cross. Cross started out by beating McIntyre with a strap before it was attached. Solid match. Cross got the win after Scarlett interfered, stopped a Claymore, and then pepper sprayed McIntyre, which led to Cross hitting the cross hammer for the victory. What'd you think, Ben?
Mate, I'm disappointed. I still gave it a 1.5 count. I thought it was an okay match. Like, it did what its job was, but at the same time, if the intention of this match was to make me want more, it has, but in the wrong way. I want more because I know they can both do better. If that makes sense. Like, I want to see those two go at it in a better way. I think the strap probably Was it the right match for them? They used it a lot. Like, you know what I mean? They did utilize it well and stuff.
The welts
at
came up
times.
eventually.
Yeah, it felt like it took too long, like for the welts, you know what I mean? Like I was expecting bang and a welt and bang. Those little things like that. I just want to see them again, but nothing like that kind of match. I want them harder hitting and just getting into it in a wrestling match. So
Mate,
1.5 count for me overall.
I couldn't agree with you more. I gave it a 1.5, but I thought that was a generous 1.5. It wasn't a bad match, but yeah. It's certainly, to be honest, it didn't leave me wanting another one of these two.
Yeah.
I thought they had a decent match, but I just feel like the chemistry is not there. And I think that they need to do something else with Cross. Like the feud with McIntyre just didn't excite me one bit. Like he was back and now it's like, carry on, Cross. I'm not really that excited by him anymore. But apparently McIntyre is the bookmaker's favorite to be the first person to take a Sister Abigail or a Mandible Claw. So
there you go.
Would
that feed into Karrion Kross being part of Bray's little new faction?
I could see it.
Well, the original story was that, you know, he sent back Dexter and he sent back Carrion and all that before he comes back himself. So there's that little pathway.
I had not thought about that a lot of the returns could be linked into it.
Yeah, so he's going after the Miz through Dexter. He's going after Drew through Carrion. And then
I feel you. All right.
Who knows?
Moving on, the Raw Women's Championship ladder match, Bianca Belair and Bayley. Bit of a spot fest, as most ladder matches are. These two, they teed off on each other.
That was just full on.
When Bayley looked like she was getting the win, Dakota Kai and Io Sky interfered. Belair hit them both with a KOD at the same time, which was a little clunky to get to.
Yeah.
But impressive in the end. Belair hit Bayley with a pretty impressive KOD onto the ladder where it looked like Bayley's face just went straight into the side of the ladder.
Yeah, for those that haven't seen it, like Belair has got Bayley on her up there to do the KOD, and Bayley's got the ladder on top of herself, and then she gives her the KOD and she lands on the ladder. Like, it was a pretty impressive move.
It was very impressive. And after that, Belair climbed up to get the belt for the win.
Tell us what you really think of this one, Dylan.
Look, I gave the match a 1.5 count.
No. I want to hear what you think about the victory.
The ending, I was not at all impressed. Look, this might be a hot take here, but I am so sick of Belair being the champion. I feel like it does nothing for her, does nothing for me. It's the boring thing every pay-per-view. Oh, Belair's gonna win. It could have done so much. She's the white meat baby face, right? She couldn't be more white meat baby face.
100%.
And the best thing for a baby face is to be chasing a heel, right?
It's the climb.
It's the climb up. No one wants to see a baby face just have the title forever. I feel, hey, Triple H, look, he knows what he's doing, but I feel like they need to take the title off Belair. And you know who's going to do it?
Tell me.
Rhea Ripley.
Ooh, I like it.
While I don't think they're done with this Bayley-Belair feud.
Definitely not.
Let's put the strap on Ripley. She's going to be a monster heel having the title. Who's going to take it from her with Judgment Day behind her?
No, I like it. I personally gave the match a 2 count. I thought it was fun. I actually enjoyed it a lot. I don't think this is over at all, but I do like what you're saying about Ripley. And, you know, they do have the chemistry from back in the NXT days. So I think it'd be great. And she's got Judgment Day behind her, like you said. So that'll be fun.
That's a good segue from Judgment Day into the I Quit match between Edge and Finn Balor. Now, there's a lot to break down in this one. There's a lot going on in this match. Good start from Balor and Edge. Balor got the upper hand to start with. As soon as Edge started to get it, Judgment Day appeared. Ray showed up. Then Beth Phoenix showed up. She tried to stop a kendo stick attack on Edge after he was handcuffed to the ropes. Beth got the key. She unlocked him, but then the numbers game was too much. Rhea took out Beth and then threatened the concerto, to which Edge then said, I quit.
And then Rhea then said, you taught us too well.
Yep. and
she
she
got the
did it anyway.
concerto.
She did it anyway.
Yeah.
So Finn Balor wins, Edge quits. I thought this match, while there was a lot of moving parts to it, did so much for the Judgment Day.
Yeah, that was the first thing you texted me, actually. You were like, wow, this did a lot for the Judgment Day. And I can see what you mean. It really did. It was a bit of a schmoz fest, but we expected that. Like, not a schmoz, like just, we knew they were going to come out. We knew there was going to be stuff going on or whatever else. You know, you've still got that whole Dominic Ray aspect that happened on the side. You know, oh my God, he's beating the hell out of his father. Like, you can see up for Rhea versus the Glamazon if we want to do that somewhere down the track. And it just really elevated the Judgment Day and showed how dominant they can be as a faction working together. So
definitely, it gave them a real nasty side, which I don't think they had as much of before.
Yeah, they seemed like a comedy act, really.
Yeah.
When they started, they were good, and then they lost a couple of matches, and it didn't really seem like it was working. And then obviously we went into Raw and the whole stuff with AJ and the Good Brothers and stuff like that. I thought that was a good little play as well, because it looked like AJ was going to join them. So it shows that they do have a bit of power. So now AJ needs help to try and stop them as well, because, you know, he's beaten Edge now. So I think it was I actually enjoyed the match, but there was just too much going on as well.
Yeah. What'd you give it?
I gave it a 2 count. I think some of the stuff they did in the crowd was great. Some of the, just, you know, the hockey stick instead of the bottom of the chair and stuff like that across the face. I think it was fun. And yeah, it just sort of went wayward at the end, but it set up for a lot.
That's right. I gave it a 1.5. I was going to give it 2. And I don't know if this got to anyone else, or maybe it was just me. The ref asked, do you quit too many times?
Yeah, it actually, I did notice that during the match as well. I was
like, just let him go.
But it's the case that every time they're in a hold, the other person's saying, ask him.
Yeah.
Like, we know that it's the same as when they go for a pin after like 30 or 10 seconds. You're like, they're going to kick out.
I felt like after every move, it's like shoving the microphone in their face.
Yeah.
It was too many for me. So it would have been a 2, but the ref, you cost it a half count.
Jeez, he's a harsh marker, folks. He's a harsh marker.
That's right, harsh marker. I mean, obviously, we saw the Good Brothers come back, and it looks like AJ and Finn and all those guys are going to kind of...
Survivor Series match?
Possibly. But then, you know, we'll probably see Edge and Beth come back a bit later, and looks like we'll get a Beth Phoenix Rhea Ripley match at some point. So there's a lot of moving parts to this one, which is a good thing.
Yeah, it is weird. As you said, there are a lot of moves. It's weird to see which way they're going to go with it, because there is too many people. Excuse me. If they want to do the Survivor Series match, then if Edge and Ray join the Good Brothers and AJ, then who joins the Judgment Day? Because they need 2 more. Do you know what I mean? Unless if they do a 3-on-3, but then that's not really a Survivor Series match.
Yeah.
So I don't know, because I don't think Edge and Beth will be back for a while. Like, not straight away.
I think they'll long play that one.
Yeah.
All right. Moving on to the main event of the night, or the semi-main event if you count the return. The Fight Pit match, Matt Riddle and Seth Rollins as special guest referee Daniel Cormier. Rollins came out with a bit of a RVD gimmick, which was pretty funny.
So good.
Had the kind of spray painted top on, the hair and the ponytail, did the Seth freaking Rollins. So that was good stuff. They both utilized the cage very well. It felt a little like a UFC fight. There was a lot of holds. I don't know why Daniel Cormier was there. He did not really seem to have much of an impact in the match.
He got involved twice. Obviously, you know, Riddle accidentally elbowed him. He said, fight him, not me. You know, Rollins then pushed him away. He said, fight him, not me. Yeah. And then that was really it. Until the end, where they were like up on top. And they're like, get up here, Daniel, get up here. DC, get up here. And he's like, I'm not getting up there. Like, and then that was it. You know, he called the ending, and it was weird.
It was a very weird one. But Riddle hit a senton off the top of the pit, which looked pretty nasty. Then locked in the triangle on Rollins, which he tried to get out of multiple times, but couldn't, and submitted. I gave it a 2. I thought it was a really good match. There could have been some stuff done a little better, but I really enjoyed it.
I was bordering on 2.5, but I dropped it back to a 2. And then I feel like if I rewatch it again, I'll probably might push it up, if that makes sense. I don't know. Yeah. I was really tossing it up. I did like the 5-star frog splash off the side of the cage. Like, that was impressive to be able to face this way, turn around, do the 5-star. They both hit moves on top. You know, he hit the stomp and he hit the RKO. An RKO off the top would have been epic, but you know,
A little bit dangerous.
Could have been dangerous. So, but yeah, I think it was good. It was a good match.
Yeah. So now Rollins has the US title. Riddle seems like he wants to get involved in the bloodline business.
Yeah.
So you think we're done, Rollins Riddle now?
For now, yeah. Because they're 1-1. So I think we're done for now.
I think we are done for now too.
Does one of them throw the other one out at Rumble? You can long play that, and then you have their third match at Mania.
Yeah, we'll come
Something
back to
like
it.
that.
I like it.
Yeah, just because you know how they like. It's just that deep-seated stuff. Remember when they versed each other last year? That kind of thing.
It's going to be in the back of our heads now. Like, oh, they could long play this now.
And yeah, you watch on SmackDown, they'll come out and both fight each other and do that on Raw, like just to ruin it for us. Nah, Triple H wouldn't do that to us.
Now we get to the main event. As Riddle's leaving the ring, walking up the ramp, lights go out. We hear "He Got the Whole World in His Hands" song. We see the human-sized versions of all the Firefly Funhouse characters, as well as the Fiend. We see the head of the charred Fiend on the announce table. Bray appears from a door in the entranceway. He's got a strange new mask, takes it off for the reveal to say, "I'm here," before blowing out the lantern, and that was it.
What a way to finish a premium live event.
Yeah, I give it a 3 count.
I gave that a 3 count, 100%. Yeah.
Okay, so here's the tough questions I've got for you, Benny. Great return. Bray Wyatt's back. Who's his first feud with?
The whole roster.
The whole roster.
He's
So
just
reports
coming for
are
everything.
that he will be a SmackDown superstar
Okay.
because the weird, evil Bray coming back has signed a contract to be on one specific show. But yeah, reports are he's on SmackDown. As we mentioned, Drew McIntyre is top of the list to be the first to get the mandible claw or Sister Abigail. I don't know if that works for me. So you think he just goes after everyone?
I think he's just going to put the feeler. He's going to pick on quite a few people. I think it's just going to be Bray's show.
Yeah.
Like NWO style, like Bray's just taking over.
I thought if he was going to be on Raw, Rollins would be a good fit. I know they've had their matches in the past, but obviously it would have been much better if Orton was still around. They could have kind of gone back to that a little bit, but
Well, Bray's last match was against Randy, so
but yeah, will be fun to find out. That is for sure. It's fun to just be talking about WWE and be excited about storylines.
Oh, it has been a while. It has. It's sort of, I felt like we were going through the motions for so long there. And good old Trips just really mixed it up.
Absolutely.
It's exciting to watch it every week.
Absolutely. It's fun to talk about what could happen. There's so many conversations each week of what could happen.
Yeah.
So I'm very much enjoying WWE right now. It's a good time to be a fan. Now, one thing WWE does extremely well is returns, as we've seen. Now, that is going to be the theme for today's 3-count draft. The best returns. Doesn't have to be WWE, but
most of them are.
Most of them are, because they do them so well. Now, the caveats being that they must be returning from an injury, they must be returning to wrestling after an extended absence, or returning to a company where they had previously worked before.
Yeah.
So, someone jumping ship to a new company they haven't been at doesn't count.
Now, also, I didn't ask you this, but are we including Bray this week, or are we not including?
Absolutely.
Oh, see, I didn't include that one. I just thought that was off. But okay.
Absolutely.
With the number one pick. No, I'm just
he's up there. Well, Benny, you do have the number one pick this week.
I do.
I'm interested to see.
There are quite a few. There are quite a few, but I'm going to mark out for one of my favorite guys. And this is one of the biggest pops I remember hearing. 2002, Madison Square Garden, Raw is War, Triple H, coming back from the quads. Mate, that was one of the biggest, as I said, biggest pops I've ever heard. So Triple H, 2002.
I thought that might be where you're going. Good year, 2002, because that's going to be my number one pick as well.
You're going for your boy?
For my boy, Shawn Michaels.
Yeah.
Made the return. He'd been away for so long. it was a DX return.
Yeah.
Much love to DX 25th anniversary.
25.
So it wasn't so much the actual surprise of the return. It was the Triple H turn on him in the ring to have one of the greatest comeback matches of anyone's career.
So good.
Shawn Michaels, number one.
Feud during that time was so good. I feel like I'm going to stick with Madison Square Garden again.
And
I'm going to go 2008, John Cena at the Rumble.
Yeah, that was a pop, an incredible pop.
Yeah, that was amazing.
And
just like the faces on the guys in the ring at the time as well. Like it was just, wow, this is crazy.
The last entrant in the Rumble, the number 30 pick, no one expected to see him. Came out, a little smirk on his face too.
Yeah, it was good.
That was huge. All right. There is a lot. I had a list of about 35, so I've cut them down a little bit. I don't want to be a homer, but seeing CM Punk back in the ring.
I didn't even write him down because I knew you were going to take him, so I didn't even think about it.
Rampage First Dance 2021. It wasn't a surprise. Everyone knew he was coming back. The music hit. It was in Chicago. The place went crazy. Yeah. He came out and he just showed he hadn't lost a thing on the mic. Obviously, he's lost a lot since then. But yeah, that return for me being a Punk mark was incredible. Just a wrestling fan in general, seeing a guy who had you never thought he'd ever be back in a ring.
Yeah, no, it was. I didn't mark out for it, but I mean, I did enjoy it when it happened, and I'm not a Punk fan in any way, so it is a good one, very good one. All right, next pick. There's so many. I've got so many here, and I think I'm going to go with the next one I wrote down, just in the order I've written them down, and I'm going to go when Taker came back as the American Badass at Judgment Day.
Okay.
Yeah, that was pretty cool. You know, they had the weird little those two young girls standing up there, and they're like, "He's here," and then he rolling. Did he come out to that song to start with?
I think it was Kid Rock to start with, was it?
Yeah, right. But I just remember him coming down on the bike, and everyone just freaked out. They were like, "What is going on? This is crazy." So the whole new Undertaker when he reinvented himself and came back and.
I was trying to find, after seeing that, when he came back as the old Undertaker. But it obviously wasn't that exciting. I couldn't really find it anyway.
I did read somewhere along there. I do remember reading it somewhere today. But for me, that was the big one. Because it was a character change and everything as well. So it was
absolutely.
Just like, wow. Nobody knew expected it.
All right. I've got a real recency bias in these next couple, but
I'm an old school guy.
Cody at WrestleMania.
Yeah, it was good.
Just that. See, when I watched that over and over again, and that gives me goosebumps every time when he comes up. Like the music's kind of hit, and we didn't know who it was going to be. We kind of did.
Yeah.
But the music hits confirming it, and then when he rises up out of the kind of mist with the big WrestleMania sign, and you can tell he's like freaking out too.
Yeah, you
like,
can see it on his
try
face,
to keep it cool.
Yeah.
That was an incredible moment.
Brilliant moment. You're making it hard now. I've got some ones that I want to do, but this was a pretty big pop, and I don't think you would expect me to say this one, but Becky Lynch at SummerSlam.
It was right up there on my list. It was an amazing pop.
Just the way Belair sold it as well. Like, oh my God, it's big. Yeah, Becky Lynch. And the crowd just went crazy.
We didn't really expect it either.
No, not at all. And just the, like the music and the fans just fully got into it. And I marked out hard for that one. So
then she came out in 13 seconds or something?
It's 26 or something.
Yeah, 26. But yeah, that was definitely a mark out moment.
Yeah.
All right. Now this is so hard. This is so
there's
hard.
There's too many.
There's too many great ones.
Like we could have done 20 each probably.
Definitely. All right. Okay. 2001. WWE has just defeated the Alliance. Vince McMahon is celebrating with Kurt Angle,
Yeah, good one.
and we hear Ric Flair's music hit.
Yeah.
Ric Flair's return. He now owns part of WWE. Hugs a bewildered Vince. Just hearing that Flair music hit was so unexpected.
Yeah. That was good. And the whole side of things with the I own half of WWE and all that kind of stuff. And
Yeah, we're partners. Gives you a hug.
that was a good one. Well, I'm going to go the same era for my last. Is it my last pick?
It is your last pick.
Wow. All right.
Do you want to go more, or are you good with 5?
Now we'll go with 5, and then because we'll let everybody just tee off on us. With how
That
many
is
other
great
ones
because there are a
So
million.
many. This
good
is just
ones.
our top 5. Oh, now I might change it. Nah, all right. I'm going to stick with it because we can mention our honorable mentions afterwards. I'm going to go 2000 Backlash. Stone Cold Steve Austin coming back from the back injury surgery, but it was during that whole who done it, who run over Stone Cold, the I did it for the Rock, Rikishi moment. He comes out, he takes out Triple H and Vince to help the Rock win the title. That was a pretty iconic moment, pretty big pop. The crowd were just going crazy for him, and yeah, I think that was a pretty big return, especially
Absolutely.
in 2000.
Oh, so this is my last pick, and I've narrowed it down to 4. 5. Jeez.
Give me a year and I'll see if I can guess them.
Okay. One's 2020.
Edge Rumble.
One's 2010.
Nah, I haven't got any 2010s on here.
Wow. I
I
cannot
must be
believe
missing
you.
one.
I cannot believe you don't have this one.
Must have missed one.
Wow. Okay. Well, you're gonna be so angry when I tell you what it is. 2003.
I did have a 2003 on here somewhere. Goldberg.
There you go. 2002.
Another 2002. Edge Rumble.
No, 2002.
Yeah, he came back at that Rumble
okay.
as well.
No, it's not Edge Rumble.
Because I've got him written down here twice as a Raw. That's the year he won the Rumble.
That's right.
Yeah. Maybe I've got it under something else rather than a year.
I'm gonna take my last one. Now, you might be surprised to hear me take this, and this is the 2010 one that I can't believe you didn't have. Bret Hart.
It wasn't a return for me. Like when I think return, I think back to make an impact, and like I did look at that one and went, yeah, he came back, but it wasn't a return, if you know what I mean.
It was a return to WWE after so long in the wilderness, and him and Shawn Michaels hugged it out.
Yeah,
that was a moment.
That was like a gun to the head. You two hug it out thing. No, it was a moment. It was a moment for me. I was thinking about how they impacted storylines going forward and stuff. But I did read that one. Okay. I didn't remember the year. Okay. But no, it's a very good one.
All right, Benny. That is our picks so far. Let's go through Triple H. Benny, this is your list. Yep. Triple H 2002 at MSG. Cena, MSG Royal Rumble 2008. Third pick, Undertaker, the American Badass. Becky Lynch, and then Stone Cold Steve Austin in 2000. I have Shawn Michaels in 2002. CM Punk in 2021. Cody Rhodes in 2022. Ric Flair in 2001. And Bret Hart coming back to hug it out with Shawn Michaels in 2010. Now let's hear him, Benny. We won't go through all of them, but give me 3 honorable mentions.
3 honorable mentions. All right. I will go with the Hardy Boys at Mania 33. That was pretty
Classic.
full on. Brock Lesnar in 2012, coming back after 8 years away.
Yep.
And then my last one is just me being my all-time favorite, Kevin Nash, 2011 Royal Rumble. Ooh, how could you not love that one, mate? How could you not love it?
I didn't have that one on my list.
It was almost my number one pick.
The one which you didn't pick for me was a Kevin Nash return in 2002.
Oh, right.
The NWO returin.
Yeah, I wrote NWO down here, but I just didn't know the year. So there you go.
Now, Chris Jericho's had a million of them. It was hard to pick one. The code one, the Save Us Y2J in 2007 was kind of the one I had. Uh,
2013 when he came back as number 2 entrant in the Royal Rumble with Dolph Ziggler. That was like long-term storytelling. You know what I mean? I thought that was good.
We mentioned Edge in 2020 Rumble. That was an incredible pop.
Yeah.
One that I know you were looking at future storylines. Well, I guess this fed into future storylines. Eric Bischoff in 2002 was certainly not expected. And the thing that gets me, Benny, you know what really grinds my gears? They showed him before he came out talking to Booker T. Did I just see who I thought I saw?
Yeah.
So they ruined the surprise, which
well, speaking of ruining surprises, I was going to include this one, but he was only out for 2 months, so it wasn't a long enough time. But when Hogan came back at Bash at the Beach in 96, that was a return of a sorts, and it changed the wilderness of wrestling forever.
Absolutely.
But Bobby the Brain Heenan ruined it by saying, whose side is he on? So when he's walking to the ring. So, I mean, anyway.
We knew from them. But yes, there was a million more we could go through. But
Sting 97. There's another one. Quick
Sting 97. There you go.
Sorry, guys. Sorry.
So many great ones. We'd love to hear them all. Get on the socials and tell us which one was your favorite, who you think got robbed in our little draft. But Benny, that is it for the show this week. We're gonna be back in a few weeks to preview Crown Jewel. And if you got any ideas for our next draft, hit us up on the socials or email us 3countpod@outlook.com. Benny, once again, thank you for your time.
Thank you very much.
Enjoy seeing what's in store for Bray Wyatt, and we'll see you next time on the 3 Count Podcast.